This was a very active caste system, and one in which Indians benefited, by the way. Gandhi fought for the preservation of the caste system in South Africa. A lot of people are unaware of that. That's why I'm not a fan of Mahatma Gandhi, and many Africans are not fans of Mahatma Gandhi, because he might have done good for Indians in India, but in terms of his footprint in Africa, it is a barbaric one. Okay, he fought alongside his white colonists to preserve what were his rights for his community.
If you knew what you were made of, then we would save the world.
Hey yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to the King Mono Show. Now, those of you who know me, which might not be very many people on this channel, which is kind of a new audience, I'm kind of finding my way around it, but those of you who know me well enough know that I'm a big fan of Julius Malema. So I know I'm going to lose a lot of my white South African fans straight away, and maybe even probably a few black ones as well who's aren't quite right up in the head. I'm a massive fan of Julius Malema. Politically, he's right up my street. So if you had any question marks about my kind of personality, maybe you subscribed through the Andrew Tate videos, you need to know this about me, okay? So feel free to leave now. If you've got a problem with, you know, black empowerment, that's what I'm about. And ultimately, I'll talk about loads of different stuff on this channel, but a lot of it's going to come back to black empowerment. I'm all about black empowerment. It's not anti-white racism, it's simply black empowerment. And I will call out anti-black racism, and I will call out white supremacy a lot, because really that is at the root of most of our problems as a society. White supremacist structure that has been created to take, to steal, to make this world uneven, to commit mass genos, to steal resource that doesn't belong, and to basically destroy the development of the majority of this world's population, and to bring us under the thumb of a minority. All of this stems back to this system of white supremacy, which people don't really like to talk about. So anyway, one guy who does like to talk about it is Julius Malema. So I've seen this video, which came out, I think it's relatively recent. It says, when Julius Malema goes berserk on white and Indian community. The South African kind of like demographics are very complex, because it's not just white and black like some people might think. There is a coloured community and an Indian community, and there's a whole bunch of weird in-betweens as well. But we're not going to go into that too much in this video. I just want to watch this because I loved Julius Malema's response, like I always do. And I think it's an important response. So let's check this out together. And yeah, let me see what you guys think.
There is no us and them here. We are all different. Trying to say that this is Indian and white and black and Chinese and so forth is not helping us move forward. It hasn't helped us.
There is still you and us. There will never be us for as long as there is no equal ownership of this country. Now there's...
So that was just the intro, and already, I'm not gonna lie, this woman is jarring the hell out of me. Okay, this is the kind of minimizing, the deliberate minimizing of black struggle. You know, we're talking about South Africa. We're talking about the apartheid state, okay? The place where it was legal to steal the land, the resources, to subjugate, to separate, to segregate, and to ultimately unalive people of the black caste. This was a very active caste system, and one in which Indians benefited, by the way. Gandhi fought for the preservation of the caste system in South Africa. A lot of people are unaware of that. That's why I'm not a fan of Mahatma Gandhi, and many Africans are not fans of Mahatma Gandhi, because he might have done good for Indians in India, but in terms of his footprint in Africa, it is a barbaric one. Okay, he fought alongside his white colonists to preserve what were his rights for his community. So just like you heard very briefly there, Julius Malema making it very clear, don't try and make us one big homogenous group now, not until we address the inequality. When we are sitting in an equal economic position as you are, you who benefited from the disadvantage and the theft that you set upon our people, when that imbalance has been balanced, then and only then can we have a conversation where we talk about us, where we talk about Rainbow Nation. There's nothing that makes me more sick when I hear about we're the Rainbow Nation. I'm African like you're African, sitting there on daddy's friggin' millions and sitting in your big friggin' farmland trying to talk like, oh yeah, you have to accept me as African. As African, have you ever apologized? Have you ever sat down on your estate and said, we're going to partition and we're going to give back 80% of this to the people? Because we stole this. We don't know. It's mine. It's mine. I inherited it. Shut up. Respectfully, shut up. Okay? There's no us. All right? I'm Mugabe all day long. And I'm Malema all day long. And if you're not willing to give back the land and the resources will be taken from you. And I know you don't want to happen, but that day will come soon.
Mr. Malema, you have presented contradictory views, actually. If I've listened to you, I've tried for the last bit.
She even that was shade, that was disrespectful. Oh, Mr. Malema, I tried to listen to you. Oh, shut your mouth, man.
You say, let's have land for the dignity of our people. But how about taking away the hard work of others and taking away their dignity? How does this move us forward as a nation?
Him stating, let's have land for the dignity of our people, yeah? Saying this imbalance. So the white people basically own all of the good land. And he's saying, let's give some of that back for the dignity of our people. Let's balance this up. Let's perhaps even make it 50-50 or 60-40 in benefit of the blacks, yeah? We don't even maybe have to even it up completely. She's saying, oh, but what about the dignity of those people? Who gives a shit about the dignity of those people? Respectfully, like, who the hell do you think you're talking to? This is the problem with these people. Yeah, she's up here respectfully speaking with an Indian accent, so she sounds like she's probably even a recent migrant, or making it very clear that her culture and her people have made zero effort to assimilate. Because if they set up a community that is so fiercely Indian that their accents don't even change after being there for several generations, that means there's no assimilation effort. So you are there literally as Indians in an African state trying to tell African people that they shouldn't want the land back because of the dignity. Did the same apply for the British colonists in India? Was it wrong for Mahatma Gandhi and for all of your freedom fighters to get the colonies out and to get your independent rule back? Was that, or was that, was that fair for their dignity, for the British dignity? Man, shut up, man.
It just says, let's redistribute the land, but at the same time, let's get the best people on the job. It's not clear where you stand between those two issues. And what do you mean by us and you? And you do use the word you a lot. So it's interesting for me, listening to you, where I stand. Where do I stand in this you-ness that you're referring to? I listened to the State of the Nation address. And I listened to the State of the Nation address review this morning. And I cannot remember the presenter's name because I do not watch TV a lot, but for some reason I happened to be there. And he asked our president, and he used the quote from, I believe it's Winston Churchill, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
I mean, even quoting Churchill, that's in horrible taste. That's in horrible taste. Churchill advocated for the racial, very clear, the racial genocide of the Aboriginal Australians. He said, is it not fair that a superior white race has gone in and conquered an inferior black race? By the way, I'm paraphrasing, okay? But that's virtually what he said, that the blacks were inferior. England committed one of the worst genocides in history of mankind, and we don't speak about it in the Australias. They massacred an entire continent of people in the most barbaric way. And Winston Churchill, just laissez-faire, blase, spoke about it like, oh, well, we're superior to them, we deserve that. And then people quote this this Australian Hitler as though he's someone who we should be looking up to. Absolutely disgusting.
And he asked him, sorry, who? Sorry, wrong one. John F. Kennedy.
But the fact that she went for Churchill, the point remains.
But that was for me a very important question. That's why I paused and I listened. He asked our president, what can you do, or what do we do to inspire the people of our country to move forward? We are talking about a brand. There is no us and them here.
Move forward. All this loose talk about moving forward. Progress is made once you address the historical injustices. You don't just ignore them and say everyone move forward, because moving forward for someone who's rich and has all the resources looks completely different to moving forward to someone who is poor and has no opportunity. Now, she's got to act like she's not aware of this, but they're completely aware of this, talking about, a brand. Let me tell you something, South Africans, yeah, Rainbow Nation, yeah, whites, blacks, colour, your brand's failed. You're not fooling anybody. No one in the world looks at South Africa and goes, oh, now there's a nation that's got it together. Oh, their race relations are amazing. Oh my God, look how they've pulled themselves out of that mire. No one thinks that. Everybody looks at the world. You can either be someone like me who's looking for black empowerment and you look at complete disgust and pity, or you could be someone who's on the other end of the spectrum, white supremacy, look at that nation and be like, yeah, this is a failed experiment. Or you can be a lefty and look at it. It doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you look at. Everybody agrees that South Africa is a failure. And that's because they keep trying to push this rebrand. It's not about rebranding. Forget rebranding. Address the injustice. Address the injustice. Okay? South Africa will never move forward until those greedy people who have taken everything give it back. Ultimately. They don't need to get out, but they need to give it back and then decide whether or not they want to stay after that. Because only then will you truly be accepted. I know there's a few of those who live in Johannesburg and they're like, Rainbow Nation, Rainbow Nation. You don't reflect the people. Vast majority of the people want the justice. They want the land reappropriated. They want the land reattributed and redistributed to the right people. They want the nation to benefit. And then once that historical injustice has been made, addressed, then we can look at you guys staying on your own merits with equal playing field and equal footing. That's when we can look at that, and not before.
We are all different. Trying to say that this is Indian and white and black and Chinese and so forth is not helping us move forward. It hasn't helped us.
It's a reality. It's a reality. And it's funny, I love the way, respectfully, Indians like to do this. Oh, they do this in the UK. Oh, BAME, there's no point in differentiating between black and Asian and this, that, and the. Let me tell you something right now. I'll talk to every single black person I know, in my family, outside of my family. If we get interviewed by an Indian person, we know we will not get the job. That's a fact. Indians are the most racist single ethnic group in the UK. I'm more likely to get picked for employment by a Polish person, by a white person, by any other ethnic group. Indians will be right at the bottom. They are virulently and endemically racist. It's literally a part of their culture to be racist. They're even racist to other Indians based on caste. These are factual things. But then they like to selectively forget about race when it's going to benefit them. I need to align myself. I need the group. Okay? I need the group now. So I'm going to say, let's forget about Indian. Forget about you guys. Don't forget about it when you go home. How many black people do you think is in this Indian woman's family? Yeah? How many black people do you think she's got? Do you think she's got any black in-laws? Do you think they've made any attempt to integrate? And yet she's now coming in here waxing lyrical about, group, we gotta be a group. Spare me. We're not stupid, okay? Malema is not an idiot. He knows exactly what you're about. You're fooling nobody. The only people that are going to be clapping for you are the white people who want to keep their land and don't want to give anything up. That's all it is.
I want to know what our brand is collectively. What does come to mind is when President Mbeki, former President Mbeki called, there was a whole brand awareness thing that goes around, I am.
It's ironic that she's mentioned Thabo Mbeki, who they used to call Tambo Tambo. They used to literally berate this man when he was president. And by the way, he was an excellent president. I'm a massive fan of Thabo Mbeki. I think he was a brilliant man, a brilliant president. Well, I think he is a brilliant man and was a brilliant president. So I've got no criticisms. But it's just one of these things, they like to look back romantically at his rule and start to quote him and this, that and the other, but you weren't doing that when he was president. It's the same thing they do with MLK. Oh, well, you know, he said, I have a dream. MLK says, when MLK was alive, you hated the man. You hated the man across the board, unanimously. The entire white community hated MLK and they were glad that he died. Now that he's dead, you want to start quoting him and start saying, oh, I have a dream, this, that and the other, because he provides a nice palatable version of the freedom struggle that you can get down with. And just like this woman quoting Mbeki now that he's no longer in power. If Mbeki came back and he continued doing his black empowerment policies, you wouldn't be backing them and you wouldn't be backing him. So this is just a soundbite here. This, all she's doing is a soundbite to sound like, hey, you know, why can't you be more like him? That kind of like othering. Let's bring someone else in and act like I'm down with the black struggle. Give me a break.
African. That pulled on people's emotional strings. I'm not saying that's necessarily the right way of doing it, but what is it? What is...
So she's quoted it, but then she said, oh, I don't think it's the right way of doing it. So why bring it up then?
Our brand moving forward.
And it's a stupid question as well. Everyone's giving this woman time of day. Everyone knows who's sitting down and is listening to this, be like, what the hell are you talking about? What is our brand? Man, shut up. Yes, check the question.
Thanks very much. Mr. Malema, would you like to answer that?
We've got another question at the back.
Shall we take the answer first from Mr. Malema on that, and then we'll get to the next question? I know we're running a bit over time. You're getting more value for your money. We'll take another question after Mr. Malema's response.
I'm gonna watch Unc cook now.
Well, I'm not asking anyone to do anything for me or my country. I'm doing it myself. So part of my contribution on what needs to be done to make this country a better place is what I said here.
I've always said that Malema has a very pharaonic look about him. He literally looks like the statue of a pharaoh. I've said before, he's like he's getting a bit beefier these days, but he reminds me a lot of Thutmose III. If you look at statue of Thutmose III, features everything. He's got the epicantic folds and he just literally looks like a pharaoh. I've always thought that, but anyway, let me let him carry on.
That if we take over, this is what we'll do. So I think that the memorized question of what you can do for your country and without asking people what they can do is not for me. I think you put it on to a wrong person. I'm not asking anyone for anything. All I'm saying is that a progressive country...
Love that. Making it very, very clear. Don't put that question to me. Yeah, I'm not asking for anything. Yeah, particularly respectfully, her as an Asian, he's like, I'm not asking you for anything. Yeah. Please don't put that question towards me as though he's making some big appeal and some plea for he's demanding things. Okay, he's demanding certain changes to be made, and when those changes are made, he's saying we are going to self-actualize. When those changes are made, we are going to automate. We are going to work autonomously as a group. We indigenous, we black South Africans, we can do this without you. So it's a with or without you thing. You give back what you owe, and then once you give back what you owe, we're going to make these moves. And then you decide whether or not you're going to stay and be a part of it. What we're not going to do is continue in this charade that it's okay for you guys to keep everything that you stole and then put a brand. That's not going to work. But anyway, let me not put words in his mouth.
It's a country that will address the imbalances of the past. There is still you and us. There will never be us for as long as there is no equal ownership of this country.
Fire. Okay? Be very, very clear about that. There will never be an us as long as there is not equal ownership in this country. So until the per capita ownership of the natural resources is evenly distributed, and even that's generous, because if it was the other way around, they'd be all getting the boot. If there was some black superclass who owned everything in some European nation, you know, they'll be kicking them out like the Moors. Forget that. They ain't got time for there to be some black superclass. Yeah, some foreigners, some Africans owning everything. They'd be kicking them out. He's not even saying that. He's saying that no, we're just gonna make it equal, so that, you know, by the end of this experiment, everybody is going to be worth the same. Okay, and then based upon that, we're gonna then move forward. Yeah, because that's when we got equal ownership, and that's when we can say everything is fair. And I think that is fair. But then, like I think I just said it in a previous video, fairness is what they fear more than anything. They are terrified of equal playing field. That's not what they're after. It's never been what they're after.
If you have arrived, it's good for you. It's good for you. But you and us refers to the owners of the means of production and those who supply their cheap labor to survive. Majority of our people are going through a lot. And I'm not going to be pretentious and say, it's not taking us forward, you and us.
And it's beautiful that he just said that, because a lot of people just overlook black suffering. Any other suffering, oh, the song and dance that white South Africans make every time a white person says, oh, there's poor whites in South Africa. And by the way, I'm aware of that. Yes, there are white people in South Africa who are poor. Okay. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to start crying because they're white and white people shouldn't be poor? It's like, okay, cool, join the club. Okay, you do always have the option of going back to your homeland of, you know, Holland, or the UK, or wherever it is your parents migrated from, because none of those places have closed borders to their South African populations. We get waves and waves of South Africans coming back to the UK all the time. Okay, they don't have any problems crossing the border back into England. So, like, respectfully, there's poor people in South Africa. Yeah, cool. All right, join the club. You know, what do you want?
No, there's no us. There's no us. We are fighting to have us. As things stand now, and it's not Malema's problem, it's an apartheid colonialist problem.
Facts. They try to vilify the people who stand up and point out the injustices that exist. I've said it in the previous time, and I'm going to say it again. The worst thing you can do to a colonialist, imperialist, Eurocentric, white supremacist is point out the facts. That's what they hate more than anything. Okay? They work with accusations and insults and dehumanizing people. Yeah? People like Malema, who get called all names under the sun, all they ever do is point facts out. Oh, yeah, cool. That's great that you're saying all that, but by the way, we need to address this land imbalance. By the way, you guys have a majority of the wealth. By the way, X. By the way, Y. By the way, Z. Just point out the facts. Quote these white supremacists. And they hate it. They act like you've assaulted them when you simply use their own words and use the actual facts and stats and say, this is what's occurring right now. They don't want you pointing out the facts. They want you to be emotional. They want you to be angry. They want you to be doing anything other than looking at what's actually going on. Oh, we need to rebrand this, that, and the other. Like, we're not, this isn't 1998 or 1994. We're not 10-year-old. We're not stupid. You can't just like pull a blindfold over us. There's too much information available now. We know too much. We're not going, no one's going for the rebrand. No one went for it in the first place. But even more now, I want everybody who's watching this video and my South African brethren to know we ain't buying your rainbow nation crap. Okay, as an African, I reject your rainbow nation crap. We all reject it. We all think it's stupid. Okay, we want black empowerment. Okay, we want black empowerment in South Africa. That's what we want. We want the historical injustices to be addressed. Then come and talk to me about Rainbow Nation. If you're not going to address any of that, then don't talk to me about Rainbow Nation. I'm not interested. Okay? Facts.
They divided us. They reserved jobs for you. They reserved economic opportunities for you. 1994 did not dismantle the legacy of colonialism and apartheid. That's why Mr. Santa says there is still an economic apartheid.
Nothing was dismantled. And until we address all of those economic inequalities that have been codified into South Africa through land ownership, through resource ownership, there's going to be no moving forward. It has to be addressed. And all that's happened is over time is that economic imbalance has translated and has now moved into a soft power imbalance in South Africa, where all of the soft power lies with that white population. Okay, none of the soft power lies with the native population, the black population. And that's really what's creating the biggest problem. And this is why the economics need to be addressed. Okay, white South Africans continue to use propaganda as a tool of control. And this is why there's so much angst within that nation. Because for many of them, they don't want voices like Malema are a thorn in their side. They want people to just accept their position as a lower class of human being, a lower caste of society, take up the low paying jobs with the knowledge that they'll never be equal whilst they essentially have all of their land and real estate ownership. It's never going to be an equal situation. They're aware of that and they're comfortable with that. People like Mr. Malema, who continuously raise the facts, continuously surface the information that needs to be talked about, are a thorn in their side.
So in apartheid means we are apart. There's them and us. Deny it. The reality is there's them and us. I want Santin and Alexander to be one thing. To be one thing. But they will never be one thing, because Alexandra is for the blacks and Santin is for the white minority. The haves and the have-nots are subjected to that congestion in Alexandra. So we will never address the issue of racial division if we do not agree and speak to the reality that we are divided because ownership is racially divided.
And that's the thing. They want to gaslight you and they want to talk to you as though, oh, you're just being racist. You're just bringing up race all the time. We bring up race all the time because it's relevant as to how you've got into the position that you got in. It's like they used all the tools of racism to manufacture the world and shape the world into a system where they have everything. And then they turn around and go, oh, that's it, racism's over, even though it's not, by the way. But they go, oh, racism's over, no one's racist anymore, it's all good. Let's just go, oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you guys all poor? It's like, what? Why are you guys all poor? Why don't you build yourselves up? It's like, what? You've taken everything, you own everything, and you've set up these racial systems so that you keep everything. And then you try and gaslight people who turn around and go, hey, could we have some equality here? Could we, all that stuff you stole, could you have it back? Oh, that's not how it works. Rainbow Nation, I'm African like you are. Why don't you come and work on my farm? Wild.
So I'm not taking any dignity away from anyone. My sister, you have a dignity. We also want our dignity back. We have no dignity. We walk like we are ashamed to be here. Especially now at night. We do not enjoy the streets of Cape Town. Because we know that we are made to feel like we do not belong here. As we walk, we are treated like we are suspects in our own country. So we are not.
And that's in great injustice, because people keep forgetting this isn't some case where everybody's an immigrant, in as much as they try to falsify South African history and act like, oh well, the Blacks arrived at the same time as the whites. Man, shut up, man. You know that's not true. Okay, you know that you literally came and there were already functioning cities and functioning civilizations that had been set up by the local Nguni people. Okay, we have the archaeology to prove that. Okay, we know that they were settled, and by the way, they weren't genociding the Kwena people or the Khoisan people like you like to try and advertise, another false lie narrative which they just make up because they know they can say any clad trap and it will sound believable, because that's exactly what they did when they came. They massacred and they genocided the Khoisan people, something that the blacks never did. You'll notice that Malema speaks with an accent. His people, the Xhosa people, the Xhosa people, speak with the click dialect, the same as the Khoisan. You know why? Because they integrated. Okay, that's why there's differentiation within the South African languages depending on how much integration they had. That kind of linguistic diffusion only happens when true integration and assimilation actually occurs, and that's what happened in South Africa. Okay, the Khoisan, the Zulu, the Xhosa people, they integrated, they assimilated, they borrowed each other's words, they borrowed each other's customs and traditions, and they became functioning societies that were neighboring each other. That's what happened. You came along, you speak Afrikaans, your language hasn't seen any evolution from the neighboring African languages, because that's why you just essentially speak your version of Dutch with a Southern African accent. That's what you do, because you never integrate, you never assimilate, you see yourselves as superior, and then you try to project your barbaric history onto the nations that were there, living side by side next to one another, with no history of the kind of genocides that you brought to the region. This is what you do. Don't try and project your barbaric, nasty history onto Africans. And it's the shame of what Malema is saying here, the fact that within their own nation they are made to feel like the worst and the lowest class. This cannot maintain. We as Africans will not allow it, and I say this in knowing that many black South Africans can't stand my black ass. I know that. A very solid job has been done on black South Africans where they hate. And remember what I was talking about, the soft power. They have been manipulated by their white media to hate other Africans, particularly Nigerians like me. I know they hate me. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm about black empowerment. I still back my black South African brothers and sisters. I still back them. And I will not stand for the nonsense that they have put up with in their nation. I know what that is, I know what that looks like, and it's not a situation that we're going to allow to, it's not going to persist. Okay, it was a unexpected day when people woke up in 1990 and the land reforms in Zimbabwe began.
Not going to be coming here and saying to you, we are nice, we are enjoying it. We are not enjoying anything. We are not enjoying anything. We are still subjects of an exploitation in this country. And exactly this attitude of denialism is the one that perpetuates apartheid. Economic apartheid we have is because you are in denial.
And look at the smug looks on their faces. They're all sitting around. Look at this white crowd, white and Asian crowd, looking around, turning in their seats. They look so smug. But this is the class, this is the people who have the haves, like he said, the haves versus the have-nots. These aren't a people. Do these look like a people that are willing to give up anything they have? These look like a people who are really sincerely seeking to address the social, the economic imbalances, really looking to help to rise up the black majority from their position of subservience and, you know, being economically downtrodden. No, they're not. They're not trying to do any of that. Julius Malema is a joke to them, and this is why he will succeed in what he's doing. He will succeed in what he's doing. They think they have all the power, and they don't realize they don't.
No, there's
Listen to the disrespect, laughing out loud. Has he said anything in your mind that sounds like it's worthy of people? This is the kind of shit that a great leader like Malema has to put up with in South Africa. Look at these smug, horrible people. Horrendous people. And by the way, I say this from first-hand experience. White South Africans are easily the worst white people on the planet. White Americans are catching up with them, by the way, but they're not as bad as white South Africans. They are generalizing as a group horrendous. I've met many, and I haven't met a single one that I like. That's just me being totally honest with you. They are overtly racist, and they can't help it. They literally cannot help it. I don't feel any way, you know, all I feel right now is a very tangible anger for what Julius Malema has to put up with, cohabiting with these monsters.
No, it's good. The emotions must be high because that's what truth does to people. It gets their emotions very high.
I love that. I love that response as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Santo, you want to respond to that? And then
Yeah.
we've got a question at the back, and then we've got a question here.
Okay, look, I just want to say, and I really want to say this, that a function
What orthodox back from Malema. Look at the big smile on his face. I love it.
like this shows the good side of South Africa. We're at least talking to each other, and it's a start. So, you know.
Could do with less of the disrespect, and shout out to Malema for how he dealt with that. I want to watch this video as well, because this is really quite a good one, and then we'll wrap up, and I'll stop my Malema glazing for the day. But yeah, check this out now.
We don't have a problem with white people. They are more than welcome. I'm even considering starting to do white people sports, you know, cycling, things like that, and swimming. That one of swimming, it can be it can be a bit challenging.
See, this is why I love Malema as well. He's very charming. A lot of people miss that. He's very, very charming, very intelligent, and they'll always try to undermine how smart he is. He really does know how to navigate these people.
We have no problem with white people. Let's engage from a respectful point of view. Don't treat me like a boy. Don't address me like a boy. If you are giving the EFF money, means you must address me like a boy. You can take your money. We don't want it.
Straight up and down. Straight up and down. Yeah. They want black men who will cower, who will bend over. They want Ramaphosa's, okay? They don't want Malemas. So anyway, shout out Malema. I love the way he addressed that entire situation, that entire discourse, that entire back and forth. He is really, I view him. I remember when he was the leader of the ANC youth, you know, a couple of decades ago. And I loved him. I loved everything he did back then. I like the breakaway. I like the independence of the EFF party. And I want to see it continue to take strides. And he will be president. And when he is president, there's going to be a short, sharp shock felt in the SADC region. And I look forward to it occurring. Anyway, that's me for today. Peace.